I don't seem to have done a lot, but everything looks different, if that makes sense. Been making this beautiful new couture piece in this gorgeous red and spotted silk. I'm absolutely delighted with her. I think she's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to get her photographed next week to go on the stores. And I will be doing a lot more photographing next week because you might have noticed I've had a bit of a move around in the boutique. In my shoes, pull up to your bed and never lose. Ship it that we're getting loose. See me now, no can take you off. Go time, beat, please take that off. Swerving on the beat, no need to get that car. Swerving on the beat, no need to get that car. I get that cash and I go hard. Spend all the cash on the fashion. Ain't gotta talk on the shit at all. Show this just let everybody talk. Show this just let everybody talk. Ooh, swerving with you. Going crazy, oh then I'll keep it on there. 어젯밤만 네 생각에 좀 더 못 일어 yeah. 어젯밤만 내 생각에 뭔가 잘못했어 Just care about it cause 곤란하니까 You make me dizzy 알라 머리 아파 지금도 너 생각해 Yeah yeah Just wanna keep going oh yeah 오늘 내 약속이 oh yeah 있어도 break that shit 아직 갈 길 멀어 우리 사이에 You're so bulletproof 안기고 싶어 네 뽀 지금 앉아 가사 쓰는 중 너 생각에 잠겨 yeah yeah Crank me so bad 이건 내가 위험해 Don't tell my friends Check you I'm gon' dash Crank me so bad 이건 내가 위험해 Don't tell my friends Check you I'm gon' dash Wanna get you right now Need to take me like bomb Heart gon' speed so cold Splash on my baby Wanna get you 당장 매일 했던 떡배 Wanna leave cannon or dash On your flavor Splash on my brain I dash on your face But came me so bad You're such a slayer Splash on my brain I dash on your face But came me so bad You're such a slayer Let's get down for some soju So basically what I wanted to do was make more of my vintage and pre-loved and accessory selection because I do have an awful lot of stock. So I put an extra rail in and that freed up some of the rails because when people were coming in they were like fighting on the rails because I've got so much stock. So I put an extra rail in so that rail and the curtains have hidden my work area a lot better as well. It's a bit more cozy. It's a bit more cozy, but it shows more, and also it's a bit more cool clutter. It's a bit more menagerie, emporium kind of look when you come in. I had a conversation with a professional marketer a couple of years ago, and she came in and she said that she thought that I should really minimalize the space because she said that when she came in it gave her a bit of a headache because she didn't know where to look first and she felt a bit overwhelmed. I think that's a personal thing, and I personally love to go to a vintage shop or an antique shop or a market and for it to look like a bazaar. That's why I called my vintage and pre-loved selection Verbo's Bazaar, which is on Depop, because I love that kind of organised clutter kind of feel about a place. So yeah, it makes me happy, it gives me joy, And when people come in, they do, their eyes open really wide and they're like, oh, where do I look first? This is amazing. You know, I don't know where to look first. I don't know what to put my hands on. It's going to take me ages to look through everything. And at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want people to spend time to go through things, to look at things, and to take their time choosing. I'm always very inspired and I'm constantly watching YouTube videos about things like the Brick Lane vintage market, and I'm completely obsessed with Marché en Pousseau de Saint-Ouen, which I hope I've pronounced properly. It's the biggest flea market in Paris and I have to go. I'm obsessed. I love watching flea market, vintage shops, vintage boutiques. I just love that kind of antiquitous element. You can almost smell the oldness of things through the screen. Because I'm a maker and I design my own pieces, I don't often talk about my love of vintage clothes and accessories and jewellery, but it is an obsession with me, and there is a huge demand for particular vintage and vintage in general. There is a huge demand for real vintage, because a lot of vintage stores that you go in, especially in city centres in the UK, there will be things that look vintage or have a vintage kind of vibe to them. I remember one store I used to go in and they used to actually take the labels out of Topshop, Primark items and then put a piece of lace around the collar or the sleeve to give it a vintage vibe. I love to be able to kind of ascertain from the quality of the fabric, the actual fabric itself, the labels inside. You can see how old they are. I mean, just a quick example, like this 1940s day dress, it's in immaculate condition, and the label is so old it's actually frayed, and it says on it washable, which, you know, would have come along at the same time as kind of domestic washing machines would have come along, and it would have been quite a rarity to have a domestic washing machine. Just look at that label there. Beautiful little day dress. Still even got the belt, and even the belt is fabric covered. How beautiful is that? This would have been the first era of mass production, when companies started making big amounts of items. And then I picked this up today. It's early 1990s. This, you can tell that from the print. Very similar to what I used to wear in the 90s shirt wise. Very kind of garish art prints. Look at that, the metal buttons on it. It is quite sheer, and you can see from the label that it's a 1990s mass-produced piece. So yeah, really getting into my vintage vibe this week.
Don't tell my friends. Check your gun dash. Make me so bad. Ain't they real me? Don't tell my friends. Check your gun dash. Wanna get you right now. Need to take me to bomb. Heart gon' speak so God. Splash on my baby. Wanna get you 당장. Really you had the top. Wanna leave cannon or dash on your flavor. Splash on my brain. Attention you free.
You. I take a shot, it's not you. I don't want to live without you. There's the feeling that is not new. I wanna chill, I wanna go, wanna enjoy, I wanna watch anything with me, just you.
So we're just after mid-September now, so I'm now starting to think about winter. Now, as a lot of you who follow me know, I don't do collections. I might do smaller selections which will come out as one group of pieces when I'm designing. So I'm thinking now about obviously winter fabrics, slightly heavier, and also party season. So I'm thinking black dresses, and I'm thinking satins and silks for evening pieces which could be worn for parties or events. My order book is reopened. I finished all my orders for September so far. So if there's anything from my repertoire of pieces from my stores, my links are in my bio. If you want to go and take a look, please take a look and let me know if there's anything that you'd like made up. Or if you've got any questions about the ready to wear or the couture pieces, then please don't hesitate to get in touch and ask away. As I said, a very quick video this week. I've mainly been doing kind of quite physical stuff, like moving around, changing the frames around on the gallery, going through my vintage stock, looking at what I can promote. Been making TikToks about vintage now and about styling different pieces to go together. I'm then going to start doing some TikToks and some social media about styling vintage pieces with some of my handmade pieces. So the possibilities are endless. I might do a video actually on YouTube for mixing and matching some of my handmade one-off pieces with some vintage pieces that I have. Because, you know, sometimes you see a colour or a fabric and you think that would go really well together. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me. And I will see you soon.